Hey, everybody. It's Kathy Alessandra, your Yes I Can coach, and we are live here right now for day 2 of the Great Mind Reset. So we'll give it just a minute here and let people hop on. I know you have, it's not quite noon yet, and I know that you've got the email that went out with the link, and we're live streaming on YouTube. We are live streaming in the Great Mind Reset Facebook group, which is a private community. And if you haven't joined that yet, be sure to get over there, request to join. That is where the comments and the questions and the interaction and all of that can be. So if you go over to Facebook, actually in any of the emails that you've gotten from me, if you go to kathyalessandra.com, and at the top, you'll see a button, especially if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see a button for the free masterclass. If you click on that, you'll be able to sign up for this class. And when you sign up for the class, then you're going to get the email reminders. You're going to get any of the homework that comes through. You're going to get any of the bonuses that I'm offering, all that kind of stuff. So, and then you'll have the link to the Facebook group. Now, the Facebook group is where the magic is really supposed to happen, because this is where questions can be asked and answered, where you guys can connect with each other and then watch any of the recordings. So everything, yes, the recording is on the YouTube channel, but in the group, you'll actually have that with any of the handouts and the things that were given there. So be sure if you haven't actually registered officially and get into that Facebook group, do that. Once you're in that Facebook group, then if you give StreamYard the permission to show your name, then when you post a comment, I will see it here on StreamYard. So if you click on it on the Facebook group, it's just going to ask you to give StreamYard permission to show your name on the Facebook comments. And again, then it shows up in my live stream here because that's the panel, that's the dashboard that I see. I'm not actually in Facebook. So I'd love to engage with you, hear your answers, see what's going on. Otherwise, I do pop over to Facebook afterwards and check in there. So, as I said, we are on day 2 of the Great Mind Reset, and I'm hoping that you had a chance to do your homework. We talked about dreaming big because that's really the first step in resetting your mind, right? It's looking at the big why and what it is you're doing in your life. Why are you doing it? What is it that you're doing? What floats your boat? What fills you up, right? Where is it that you're wanting to be? What is it that you're wanting to do? And that's where you need to start, because when you know what that big why is for you, when you know what that big dream is for you, when you know what's so exciting for you, then it makes everything else easier, right? Because then when we get in that funky place and we're not so sure, we have that why that's still driving us. We have that dream that's still driving us, that's still moving us forward. So that's why I have you start with dreaming big and writing it all out in as much detail as you possibly could. That's how the instruction showed you yesterday. And then the idea with this is to take it and visualize it. So visualize it every day. Read through it. Visualize it before you go to bed or sit down at your desk to work. Or it just depends what's in your big dreams, right? So I would love to hear if you've done it and what that big dream was for you. Or if you had some aha as you were writing. We talked about hot penning, right? Where you put your pen down on the paper and you just go with the questions. And I've always had amazing ahas and revelations when I've done that, when I pose a question and I just start that hot penning. So I would love to know if you did too, what that was. Put it in the Facebook chat, put it on the YouTube chat, reply to the emails that I'm sending you, because I'm the only one getting those and I will be the only one. It's all private. So only I will be seeing your response and replying. So would love to see that. So today what we're going to do is we are going to move into a little bit more about the mindset, and we're going to talk about beliefs and blocks. Beliefs and blocks. And unfortunately, there are many for all of us, right? So the first thing I want to talk about is kind of some mindset essentials. And if you've taken any of my courses before, you may have heard these 9 mindset essentials before, but I just want to repeat them and remind you of them. After that, we're going to kind of step into some of the limiting beliefs and the fear and what that does to us and where that puts us and how it stops us. It is such a huge block, right? Such a huge block. Those limiting beliefs, those fears, oh, my goodness. If we were able to get through those more easily, right? So we're going to talk about how to do that. And then we're going to end with a fun little exercise, really to kind of cement some of those thoughts, those positive thoughts, those things that you're doing and getting rid of the limiting beliefs. So let's start with these 9 foundational mindset essentials, okay? So the first mindset essential is know what you want and allow yourself to have it. You need to set the intention, right? So when you did the dreaming, That was kind of in a way setting that intention of what you wanted to do. So what I want you to look at now is pick out one or two things from that dream. Set the intention of what you're going to do and what it's going to look like and what it's going to be. So what do I mean? So I'm in the process of contracting an event, two events actually. There's one coming up in September and there's another one coming up in Austin, Texas in November. And so I'm setting the intention of what that looks like. I mean, for me, it's actually a time of prayer and meditation and getting really focused on what I want that event to be, what I want it to look like, who I want in the room, how I want it set up, right? And I'm setting that intention of what that's going to be and where that's going to go from there, right? As I'm moving and shifting into some different things that I'm doing. So what is the intention that you're going to set? Is it, for you, is it the healthier body? Is it a relationship? Is it filling your bank account more towards, retirement? So set the intention, know what you want, allow yourself to have it, know that you are good enough and you are worthy of it, and set that intention. Okay. So that's mindset essential number one. Mindset essential number two is to commit, then figure it out. I'm sure you've heard that saying, building the plane while you're flying it, right? So we don't need to know all the hows and the whys and the whats and the whos and all that, right? When we're starting to move forward, we have to step in, step off the cliff, or step into the ring, or step out of the whatever it is, right? Whatever that is, that little phrase, so that we can really start moving forward. Because when we stand back and we're just looking and we're just dipping our toe in and not getting fully committed, right? Then things get stopped, things get slow, and we don't actually move forward, right? That's why we've got to be committed to that dream, committed to that action, committed to the thing that we're doing, committed to the intention, right? We've got to commit, because if we're not fully 100% in there or 150% in there, then we end up backing off. Now, this can be in sales, right? You're committed to make X number of calls. You're committed to make X number of dollars. It could be in your finances. I'm committed to a budget and to saving money and to earning and to, getting a retirement account, whatever it is for you, right? It's being committed in that moment and then figuring out how you're going to do it. So let's go back to this analogy of the event I'm doing, right? I'm committed. I'm signing a contract. I have people signed up. Right? It's costing me money. I'm putting money down and I'm taking a risk. Yeah, I'm absolutely taking a risk. I'm a little more risk tolerant than some, but I'm committed. I'm committed to doing it. I'm committed to doing the work. I am committed to me and who I'm serving. So what is that commitment to you? How are you going to commit yourself? Right? If we are not fully committed and in the game, we're not going to have that success we want. So commit and then figure it out. Get all in. I mean, we're not talking about standing on the side of the river, right? And dipping a toe in. We're talking about stepping into it, right? Stepping into it. Commit, and then you'll figure it out. And the things, I don't know about you, but for me, as I step into things, as I commit to things, as I move forward, I take that first step and the second step appears. And then the next thing. And I get confirmation that the flow is working in my favor, right? So commit to those things that are important to you, to those things that you talked about in your dreams and the intentions that you're setting. Okay. Number 3, ask yourself, in this place of overwhelm and like, how am I going to do this, Kathy? Ask yourself this one question. What's the one thing I need to do today? Just one. You don't need to do 20. You need to do the one thing that is going to move the needle forward in what it is you are committed to doing, right? What is that? And you've got to intensely focus on those essentials. Right. So if it is going back to the event, right? For me, it is talking to the woman. It is laying it out, is making sure I have the right rooms, blah, blah, blah. Right. So the one thing I needed to do today is to get that contract signed and the deposit over to her. Now, maybe if it's a relationship with my kids and building that, right? The one thing I'm going to do towards that is going to send them a text and stay connected. Right? What's the one thing I'm going to do in my finances? Maybe it's I'm not going to buy the coffee. I'm going to put $5 in the account. I don't know. Again, it goes to what is most important to you, where your values, where your priorities are, what intentions you've set, and what those big dreams are for you. But what I don't want to happen for you is to get stuck in the overwhelm. Has anybody experienced that? I would love to hear. Has anybody experienced the overwhelm where, I know I have. You get up in the morning and there are so many things to do. You don't even know where to start. Right? You just don't even know where to start. It just becomes one big confusing mess. And then you're doing half of this and half of that and being called over here and letting all the other things take you away. Right? Yeah, I would love to hear. Do you get into that? And how do you get through that, right? It's really looking at that one thing and just remembering that one thing. Again, if you are on Facebook, and I'd love to hear your comments. If you're listening on Facebook, give StreamYard that permission so that I can see the comments that you're making, because that's where the interaction and the engagement goes. But having that one thing. Now, what I do for me personally, I typically look at like, what are the 3 things I'm going to do that day, so that I'm not getting in that overwhelm. And I know those 3 things are actually going to move forward in the goals and the dreams that I've set. So it may be going to the gym. It may be eating something healthy. It may be moving forward in something I'm doing in my business, like I was talking about today. Yes, overwhelm. Thank you, Brooke. I really appreciate you commenting. Easy to do. Try to remember to take a step back, take a breath, take a walk away from the desk. Yeah. There's times when I literally have just gotten up, pushed myself away, and gone and taken a walk around the block, right? Because I don't know about you all, but when I get in that, I can feel that anxiety. The anxiety starts rising, and then my focus is all over the place. I don't have any focus. So we want to be intensely focused. Okay. The 4th one, don't be attached to the outcome. Don't be attached to the outcome. So, so much of the time in our mindset, we have these expectations of ourselves, of the other people involved, of the situation. We have these expectations that we set, and then we're disappointed when things don't necessarily go the way that we'd hoped. So where I'm saying here is, don't be attached to those outcomes. Don't allow for the expectations to take you, or the lack of expectations, the fulfillment of those expectations, take you off in a different direction, right? It's setting that mindset of this or better, right? If you, have the mindset of, I'm going to show up for my clients today, or making those sales calls, or reaching out to somebody, right? It doesn't matter necessarily when I send a text to my kids, whether I get a response back right away. I'm not expecting that, right? But what I am doing is building that relationship, building that rapport, or if I'm reaching out to a client, or if, any of the various things that I'm doing, right? The things that you're doing. Don't be attached. Don't have that expected outcome. And again, with the mindset of this or better, right? So if you're doing a sales call, or you're doing a class like this, or whatever it is, show up, serve, do what you're supposed to do, make sure that you are being the best version of what you can be, and then whatever's going to happen is going to happen. But having that mindset of this or better, and it will continue moving forward. Okay? Got it. 5th mindset essential is to invest in yourself. And I'm not talking about just money. Yes, we do need to invest in ourselves financially. I have my own coach. I take my own continuing education classes. I'm taking some other fun things to learn some hobbies and fill some other areas in my life that are of interest to me, right? So I'm absolutely investing financial resources into myself and my business, but I'm also investing the time, right? I'm investing the time in discovering what it is that I want from my life. I'm investing the time in exploring relationships. I'm investing the time in going to the gym and finding that happiness for me, right? And so when I say invest in yourself, I mean that as well. We've got to take the time, right? If you aren't taking the time for you, if you aren't putting that self-care in for you, nobody else is, right? So what are you doing now to invest in you? Are you doing anything right now to invest in yourself? I'd love to hear. What is it that you're doing? Are you investing in a coach, or a trainer, or a mentor, or a support group, or a program, or whatever it is, right? What are you investing in for you? Are you investing your time? Are you blocking off your calendar and taking a walk, or going to the gym, or making a special meal, or having lunch with a girlfriend, or going out for a date night, right? Invest in you. You've got to. That's where the happiness factor is going to come in. You've got to invest in yourself, time and resources, and financially, okay? Number 6, find your tribe. Okay, so there are lots of tribes out there. There are lots of groups. There are lots of support things. There are lots of coaches. There is so much out there with people that you can connect with, that you resonate with, right? So it's super important to find your tribe. You cannot, nor should you, do it alone. We can't do life alone, right? We have to have girlfriends and guy friends. We have to have coaches and mentors and, that whole thing. We have to have financial advisors and business lawyers. And, we need a team of people around us for the various things that we're doing in our lives, right? I have one client right now who's looking at starting a franchise, right? She's got a whole team of people that she needs in her business, right? But then she's also trying to stay healthy. Oh, let's also talk about teams of doctors for health and chiropractors and massage therapists. And, I mean, let's just talk about all of it, right? Who are you going to bring into your life? What kind of tribe are you going to surround yourself with as you're trying to grow and expand and be the best version of you? Living that Yes, I Can life. You've got to have those things involved. Now, there's the Yes, I Can women's community, the actual collaborative that we have. We have masterminds, we have success circles, we have coffee and connections. We've got all kinds of things where women are coming together and you're conversing, you're getting to meet each other. We're talking about collaboration. You're talking about masterminding and brainstorming and think tanking, right? So if you're looking for that kind of thing, well, join us over there. If you're looking for something on the business level, we'll be talking later on the next couple of days about a group program that I'm going to be doing from this training, right? I'll be doing 6 months of coaching with various people to help you continue on this path. But again, it's finding the people that work for you, who resonate with you. I may not, my group may not, your friend may not, right? But finding it for you. Find your tribe, right? And hook up with them so that you can have that support system around you. Okay, number 7 is keep moving. There are no failures. There's only lessons, right? A failure only occurs if you literally stop and walk away, right? Throw your hands up and I'm done. I'm out of here. All right. You might be able to consider that a failure. But failure only happens in that. Everything else is a lesson. Everything else is being built up and built on what you need to learn, where you need to go. Let me give you a perfect example of this, right? I have done events for years and years and years. I've done kids expos, family events. I've had events with 250 women. I've had events with 3,000 to 4,000 families, total, right? So I have done all kinds of events. When I did my first women's conference, which Success Summit has to have been probably 10 years ago now, I signed a hotel contract where I guaranteed way more than I should have guaranteed. Was that a lesson? Absolutely. Did I fail? Yes, to the tune of like 10 grand or something like that. Was it a lesson I took with me for everything else I've done since then? Heck, yes, it is. But I wouldn't have known that. I mean, yes, I had to sit in that. Do I want anybody to lose 10 grand? Absolutely not. Did I enjoy it? You bet I did not. But it helped me in where I was going. So not only for myself in booking future things, but then working with clients who are doing the same thing, right? So what is it for you? What kinds of lessons have you had? If you flip that switch, if you flip that thinking, if you turn things around and instead of thinking about the negative, oh my God, I failed at that. Oh my gosh, I ate what I shouldn't have eaten today, right? No, let's flip the switch on that thinking instead, right? And how can you keep moving? What was that lesson I needed to learn? Whether it was the financial one and for an event, or maybe it was like, well, that didn't agree with me, or again, taking it into the next thing. So keep moving. Don't look at the failures, which aren't failures anyway. Look at it and figure out what the lesson is in it for you, right? Figure out what that lesson is. It's an important thing. It really is, because we can get down such a negative path when we think we're failing or when it looks bad, right? And then we start talking in our head and we have all those, right? That horrible little voice inside our head. We're not listening from our heart, from our soul, right? Which is what we need to be doing. So, okay, keep moving. Take the lesson. Number 8 is be magnetic. Be magnetic in your life. Now, everything from smiling to the person that you walk past at the grocery store, or looking at somebody in the eyes in the elevator and giving them a smile, a hello, wow, you look great today, even though you don't know who they are. Wow, that color's wonderful on you. Have you ever had that happen? I know you have. I'd love to hear what it was, right? Wow, that's really cool. I love that outfit, that shirt, that jacket, that whatever, right? I know you've had somebody say that to you at some point or other. I know I have. A stranger on the street, right? Oh, I love that necklace. What does it do for you? It builds you up. It gives you confidence. It makes you smile. It makes your heart sing, right? So can you do that for others? Do that for others. Be magnetic for others. Allow that push and that pull. Give. You've got to give before you can receive, right? So how can you be magnetic? By sending out the love, by sending out the kudos, by sending out all the various things, right? So being magnetic, put it out there. It's so important to show up, stand up, be there for others, support one another, and allow, right? Really, truly allow that for others by building them up. That's how you become magnetic. That is how you become magnetic. Okay, the ninth one and final one is trust in faith. Faith. Faith is a big, huge component for me. If you have followed me for any length of time, you know that. My faith is my number one core value. And whether my higher power is God, whether yours is universe or source or goddess or whatever it is, or maybe you have no faith whatsoever. But I do believe in faith. And I've got to have faith. And I believe everyone needs to trust in faith as they're moving forward in what they're doing, listening to that inner voice, getting quiet in silence. Am I going in the right direction? Am I reaching out for the right thing, right? Trust and faith. Now, you can't have faith and fear at the same time. You just can't. They are opposites. So I can't be living in faith and having a whole bunch of fear swirling in my head, right? So when I get in that place of that fear, of that unknown or whatever, right, I need to take a step back. I need to look at that faith piece and see, all right, am I worrying? Am I moving forward in the right direction? Now, I'm not talking about wishing upon a star and, manifesting just millions of dollars by hoping and wishing and praying. No, I still have to do the work. You still have to do the work, right? It's not going to happen just overnight because we're wishing it, right? We still need to do the work. Yeah, pray hard and work harder. That's the bottom line, right? But trust in faith as you move forward, because that is when you're able to push out the fear and the limiting beliefs and all the blocks that are holding you. Let's talk about blocks for a minute. Fear is like the number one block in you trying to move forward and live your best life. Fear of success, fear of failure, fear of not being enough, fear of not being smart enough, fear of not being pretty enough, fear of, you name it. I'd love to hear what your fears are, right? Fear is just, it can stop us in our tracks. It can absolutely hold us down and keep us from moving forward because we're afraid of what is next. Okay, how can we move through that? How can we continue to move forward? What do you believe about what you deserve? What do you deserve, right? Are you willing to work for it? Are you willing to take a leap of faith and get out of your head, drop into your heart, and work on it from a place of faith instead of a place of fear, right? So when we look at those limiting beliefs and those things that are stopping us in our track, and I will include a limiting belief worksheet in the email that I send this afternoon, which is basically, when you start thinking about, I'm not enough, I'm not smart enough. Okay, where is that? This is my narrative, all right? I'm not smart enough to do that. So where does that narrative come from? Well, it comes from, and I'm not sure whether I shared this yesterday, an ex-family member who said to me, and not my ex-husband, how do you expect to hold an intelligent conversation without a college degree? Yeah, right? So you can see where that limiting belief of myself of not being smart enough stemmed from a conversation that happened when I was 19 years old. And then I held on to it for the next 25 years, right? I had a successful business. I was running the 2 magazines. It was a 6-figure business. I was about to sell it, right? But I still held on to that in the back of my head, right? I questioned myself in everything I was doing. How was I really smart enough? Because I didn't have that college degree, even though I had a bank account and a business that showed otherwise, right? And when I was finally able to let go of that limiting belief and understand that I am deserving of wealth, that I am smart enough to be able to teach and to train and to share all those things, right? Everything shifted for me. You got to clear out those cobwebs and clear out that dust and let go of all that crap, right? So what is it for you? What is it that may be holding you back in that fear piece and those limiting beliefs for you? What's stopping you? Okay, how can you switch your thinking so that when you get in that place, you're able to turn things around and flip that switch and see the more positive, right? Because negativity is just that toxicity. If we're not trying to stay in, I'm not talking about being perfect Pollyanna and, positive Pollyanna, whatever it is, right? So that you're happy all the time and, well, yeah. But, when somebody comes up and says, how you doing? I'm like, oh, it's horrible. It's awful, blah, 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 right? We got to stay in the positive. We got to be looking for the positive, and we need to think about how we can switch that thinking when we start going down that negative track, how we can look at something maybe that's happened or an email that's come through or something, whatever, right? And looking for that positive, flipping that switch and the believing you deserve You deserve what you're working towards, and the money, the business, all those different things as you work towards it, because you got to work towards it. And then taking responsibility for the outcome, right? If you're not putting 150% into something, how can you expect to get 150% out, or even 100% out, right? We've got to take the responsibility for what we're putting into our lives, how we're showing up, what we're doing, right? If I'm going to be on social media and I'm going to be sharing and I'm going to be teaching and I'm going to be sending newsletters, right? In my business, I got to take the responsibility for growing my business and doing the things that need to be done for that. If I'm going to be saving for my retirement, I got to take responsibility for the outcome of where I spend my money and how I spend my time and what my bank account looks like, right? It's taking responsibility for that outcome and having an attitude of gratitude. Gratitude is essential. We have got to remember that piece of gratitude. Being thankful for everything that we're doing, everything that's coming to us, all the giving we're doing, all the receiving that we're having, right? Being in that attitude of gratitude in all areas of our life, for the lessons, for the challenges, for the celebrations, for all the things that are going well, right? So we need to be in that place of gratitude. When we are in that place of gratitude and we are looking at our mindset and how we're moving forward, it can make the greatest impact, right? When we talk about all these mindset essentials that I talked about at the beginning of the call, yeah, they're essential. They're absolutely, positively needed in all of these things. But we've got to remember that attitude of gratitude, being in that place of thankfulness as we move through our day, for the things that come through, for the phone calls, for the emails, for the lessons, right? I know that's hard. I know it can be so hard to have something horrible happen, or an email come through, or a client fall off, or the bank account bounce, or whatever it is, right? It's hard to be in that place of gratitude. But if you put your head down on the pillow every single night, being in gratitude for just the day, there is darkness, absolutely. And believe me, I've been there and done that. I mean, I've told you, I've gone through a divorce after 29 years. I had to rebuild financially from all of that, right? And there were days, certainly, when I was going through things with my son, where the only thing I could find grateful was the fact that the sun was shining, that I had lived to see another day. But at least I had gratitude for that. And having an attitude of gratitude, even in those darkest moments, as you continue to move through and keep saying that, helps you turn yourself around, helps you see that maybe life isn't quite so bad, that there are some things that are going well and that are moving forward for you. So for our homework today, I want to continue that thought of gratitude, because I think the gratitude piece is so incredibly important. And so I have an exercise for a gratitude prayer. And it's a lot of fun, I think, anyway. And it's something that you're going to create for yourself. It's the A to Z gratitude prayer. So either when you first get off, or maybe when you're quieting down for the evening and you've got some time alone tonight, I want you to take the letters of the alphabet, every single one, and maybe in your journal or on your computer, however you best write. And I want you to put things down that you're grateful for that correspond with each letter of the alphabet. So A, what might you be gratitude for? All things, whatever, right? So for each letter, there's something you're grateful for. C might be children for me, and I might spell out my children and do it in a sentence or two, right? I'm grateful for my children and the love that they bring into my life and the happiness that I see them experiencing now. And being a mom, I mean, that is just one of the things I am most grateful for. Absolutely, right? So my business and the clients that I get to work with, and I am most grateful for all the clients that I'm able to see their ahas and their revelations and how they move forward and how they grow and expand and start serving the world in a different way that only they can, right? So A through Z, what is it that you're gratitude for? I mean, I think when I did this a few months ago myself, I got to the Z. I think Zoom actually was the one for Z. Being grateful that we had Zoom over the last couple of years, right? Because then I could connect with my family who I couldn't see. I could connect with all my clients who I used to see in person. I could connect with people all over the world who I had traveled with and were friends with, but I wasn't able to do them. I wasn't able to see them because I wasn't able to travel. So I was grateful for Zoom. I'm still grateful for Zoom, although I do suffer the Zoom fatigue like I know many of you do. So anyway, that's tonight's homework, the A to Z gratitude prayer. A to Z, give me a word for what you're grateful for. And I would love to see in the Facebook, if you're a part of that group, put it in the chat, either from this message from below the video, or just do a separate post what out of when you do that exercise, what's the one thing when you look at all that A to Z that you're most grateful for, right? What is it? Have that attitude of gratitude as you step back into your day. I know I have a huge attitude of gratitude for all of you who are watching live, who are watching the recording, who may be watching, I don't know, 2 months from now on YouTube. I am grateful that you have joined me. I am grateful that you are wanting to reset your mind to be able to live your best life, because I know when you live your best life, you're going to show up and serve this world in the best way possible. All right, we will be back tomorrow for day 3 of the Great Mind Reset. We're going to be talking about the Yes, I Can principles, the 3 pillars and the 4 foundational principles in the Yes, I Can living, and how you can really embody them and embrace them and work them into your life. And I'm telling you, it can be transforming if you really step in. All right. I hope you have a great, wonderful afternoon. I look forward to your comments in the Facebook chat. I want to hear what you're most grateful for. I will send you the additional limiting beliefs worksheet, so that if you're really struggling with some things, you might find a way to reframe some of that as you reset your mind. All right. Have a great afternoon, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.